record, and I think it should be working now. I can't see my levels, but we can assume it's working. It's actually good if I sit like this. It's comfy. It's nice. Anime Boss is coming up, so right now I'm testing out how some potential setups will work with some of the equipment I got. This microphone is a new piece of equipment. It's wireless, so you're hearing it from a wireless receiver that's connected to it that I also purchased. I tried just now testing out those lavalier mics again. I don't like it. I also tried testing this all out on my new laptop I bought. The good news is, with the new laptop, I can plug in the camera into it and run it through OBS if I have to. And I also have a spare audio interface that I can bring for things in case we need it. But a lot of that just seems like too much for what I need. Like it's too much, like wires everywhere and setups and plugs and a whole bunch of stuff that I don't necessarily need, when in reality all I really need is the camera with an SD card, a full battery in it, all wireless, okay, and then I just have the receiver for the microphone plugged in to the camera so that you can hear from this. And that's really all it really takes. It just means later on I just have to take the footage from the camera and put it into the computer. It's not that bad. The only thing is I can't tell right now how the audio sounds with this. I could if I plugged in my headset into the receiver and then wore the headset, then I can hear myself back. But I don't want to be doing that all the time. And in fact, this is right now is just going to be a quick practice of using the microphone without hearing myself back, which is something that I don't normally do. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll notice I'm not doing it without headphones on, despite the fact that I don't actually need the headphones on. There's no microphone attached to them. I don't need them on. But I do it because if I wear it, I can hear myself back through the microphone. You know, the one that I have at the desktop. If I'm using this wireless handheld microphone and I'm going out to places to talk to people like an Anime Boston coming up, I can't exactly wear the headset everywhere I'm fucking going, okay? Maybe my brother, who's going to be handling some of the audio stuff while I, talk to people, may be able to. I don't really even think that that's necessary for the most part, but I was thinking about quickly talking about Dr. Slump, because that's the next manga volume that I have to read, which had the unfortunate timing of being on my desk to read just before we found out Akira Toriyama died. And that was his series before Dragon Ball. I wasn't planning to read it because Toriyama died. I planned to read it before because a friend of mine, I was messaging them on Facebook and I was like, which manga should I read next? And they basically just told me, read Dr. Slump right now. They told me to drop everything and read like the first chapter. And I did. I wasn't planning it because Toriyama passed away, which is very unfortunate, very sad, but it's just kind of been there. It's been staring at me in the corner as I do a whole bunch of other work. The past couple nights, and tonight will be another iteration of it, has been the rewatch of Bang Dream It's My Go, which I got into to try to get more involved with the r/anime community after watching their anime awards, after seeing the abysmal nightmare that was the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Oh my god, it's always terrible, but this year it was like, I don't even know. The r/anime awards was a much more interesting experience, much more well thought out. Everything is very transparent about how they do things, and I had never really paid attention to their award shows prior to this year. I think I knew that they happened, but I never really checked in on them too much. To see how they did the process this year and how transparent they are about everything in the process, including all jury members that do their judgments have to have a whole write out for why their opinions of these things happen, and they have to basically all come up with some kind of agreement as a group of jurors. You know that the people doing that voting know their shit when it comes to anime, which is very, very good. And I applaud Crunchyroll's attempt at trying to get industry people directly involved with their award show at least, but the problem is it doesn't work for several reasons with how they do it. First of all, they host it in Japan. I understand they're trying to do it because it'll be easier to get some of these Japanese industry people to show up to this event. But Japan is not the audience for Crunchyroll. I don't even think you can use Crunchyroll at all in Japan. So I still can't fathom why they've tried that twice now. And in the second iteration of it this year, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards attempted to, because the show is mostly hosted in Japanese. The Crunchyroll Awards is mostly hosted in Japanese because they're in Japan and talking to a Japanese audience, despite the fact that Crunchyroll is not for a Japanese audience. It is for an English-speaking audience, okay? So the first year, they attempted to do the show in Japanese to the people there, but to the viewers at home watching the live stream, they could hear a live interpreter talking English over the people talking Japanese, which is really fucking annoying for several reasons. But the second year, okay, they did the idea, which I thought that they should try at least. They know what people are going to say, because Japanese TV, from what I understand, especially award shows and stuff, are hyper scripted, like to an annoying degree from what I understand. So you know exactly what people are supposed to be saying at these times. So just have an English translation ready to just not have to live like interpret what people are saying. You just read off the script. The problem is they tried that by handing the script off to people who probably were not actually interpreters or translators at all. They sound like just voice actors. There's a male and a female voice actor is what it sounded like to me. And so they don't actually know when they're supposed to start and stop these lines. So they just keep trying to read lines, and especially towards the beginning you can notice this. They're like just reading lines back and forth to each other, not paying attention to who's supposed to be saying what and when. And then at some point you can also hear somebody physically telling them when they're supposed to say something too, like, or what to say. Like you can hear it. Like there's somebody else in the room telling them what they're supposed to say, and then there'll be like a weird pause in the middle as they wait to hear the rest of what they're supposed to say. Crunchyroll Anime Awards was another shit show with that. Okay, but here's a question. Okay, I understand we're Crunchyroll. We are a service whose primary goal is to localize Japanese audio to an English-speaking audience, mostly through subtitles. And you have a script for an event show that will largely, for the most part, be followed. You're not going to get too many wacky shenanigans or somebody saying different, for all you know. Is there a reason that they could not find a way to subtitle this event? Because for the most part, it did not seem like a live event. It seemed like a edited event that was recorded maybe an hour or so prior. But I don't know. Maybe I just don't. Maybe I just didn't notice it. But it did not seem like it was a live thing for them. I feel like we could have tried something else. But again, they're still doing their attempts at trying to get the Anime Awards to work in Japan. And now the heater just turned on. Wonder how that's going to fuck with the mic quality. Maybe it won't pick it up. I can only hope. The other thing too is the Crunchyroll Anime Awards seem like they're only really hosted in Japan so that they can rub shoulders with Japanese industry people directly. Like it seems like more of a big write-off to have a trip to Japan and go network with fucking industry people just as a little party or event or whatever. Because I can't fathom why else you would want to host it to a Japanese audience in Japanese mostly when you don't even, the service isn't available there. So anyways, Bang Dream, it's my go. I've been getting involved in a rewatch thread with that. The first time I've been involved in a rewatch thread on that subreddit. It's interesting to see what other people catch and what I miss and what thoughts people have and screenshots that they seem to take. As my first attempt at not really knowing what other people do, tried to write a shit ton, and I found out both times so far with the 2 episodes that we've had come up, I am very bad when it comes to the Reddit character limit, which by the way, when I make a post, Reddit will yell at me sometimes and say, this is over the 10,000 character limit. And I go and I check. It's not over 10,000 characters. Even when I look at the full markdown version of it, it's not over 10,000 characters. It's very much under 10,000 characters. Eventually, after I keep cutting a bunch of stuff, eventually it works. And then I just post the rest of it into a reply there or whatever. But it's several times now where it told me there's a 10K character limit. Then there wasn't a 10K character limit because clearly it is something else. Somebody else I think had said it's actually a 1,000 word limit, which I don't think applied to my posts either, but I don't know. Anyways, what other anime stuff we got going on here? I've been watching several shows where I've been trying to do one episode of several different shows a day as opposed to multiple episodes of one show in that day. I've been doing that now for about a week, and it seems to be better at helping me one, have a more enjoyable experience because I'm basically setting up a program schedule of the animes I get to watch that night for a while for at least 2 weeks ish. It makes it more interesting to enjoy the anime that way. And also, I think it helps me remember the shit that happens in the anime, because if I'm just binging 6 episodes in a night of an anime, so I'm getting halfway through it already, I might enjoy it in the moment, but I'm probably going to forget it later because I basically binged through it all in one night. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it makes it harder to remember some details because it feels more like at the time I'm just trying to get through that number of episodes. So I don't know. Right now I've been the current cycle is Hokkaido Gals are super adorable. It was D4 Princess. I finally finished that today. Lesser known 90s magical girl anime where her thing is she's like a princess, but also they have these things called panzers, which is the magical girls, quote unquote. But their magical girl forms are like mecha battle suits, and hers is like a drill type or whatever. So the D4 has to do with like the fourth drill in her family or something to that effect. I just finished that up, but that was pretty interesting. It was like fun comedy, but also like a lot of nice action. But it's too short. It's got shorts, like all the episodes are shorts, which are it's a nice length for it, especially in the first episodes. But it just ends way too early before more things happen. You barely see a whole bunch of stuff, and there's only 4 volumes of the manga, so I severely doubt there is actually more to the story. So Hokkaido Gals, D4 Princess, Michiko and Hachin. Been watching through that. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. Nihon Animator Expo, that like big collection of like animation short films by a whole bunch of different studios with a whole bunch of different like it's the things where like a whole bunch of things like Me 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 was from. That popular meme song was like from there. And there's quite a few of those shorts are like just directly Evangelion kind of things, like Evangelion, like a music video prequel thing for the Thrice Upon a Time or whatever, like the rebuild movies that were going on at the time. Like there was one of those that was in there, and I think the most recent one I saw was like production key animations for Mobile Suit Gundam, like the original Gundam. Interesting works, I will say. And a lot of the original stuff that's in there that's not related to the existing properties, very creative, very well done. So it's very interesting. It's not, but of course, because it's a whole bunch of short films, some of them are less memorable than others. But it's nice. A nice little variety with that. Nice little variety shorts. It's pretty cool. All right, I'm forgetting now, so I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. Yeah, we got Bang Dream, Sound Euphonium. Been watching that for the first time. I'm halfway through the first season. Black Lagoon is another one. And Data Live. That's a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. So I'm glad that there's like 5 seasons of that. I don't know if I care too much for the action of it. The action for Data Live is fine, but the comedy bits of Data Live, I fucking love. I think it's fucking fun. It's really great. He has to date the giant mecha nuke angel women or whatever that are just being given powers. Otherwise, everybody's gonna fucking die eventually, probably. So he has to date them, and his like little sister is like this like military dating sim strategist who's like whispering like advice in his ear sometimes. It's fun. It's fun. Black Lagoon is just hardcore awesome action. The same kind of goes for Michiko and Hachin. I'm also keeping up with the current season of Precure, specifically Wonderful Precure. The one with the dog Precure. It's the doggo that's a Precure now. They're fucking torturing this dog in this series. Oh my god, my heart. Jesus. Because it's supposed to be the dog and her owner are both Precures. And now they're having disagreements about things because their leash that they used to use for like walks or whatever, like the like special leash that was representative of their bond together, got turned into some item that they use to battle the Gudas, the like evil monsters, or the animals that get turned into the evil monsters. The dog is upset because she wants to go for a walk, but then they realize, oh, the leash did not turn back to normal. We don't have that leash for you to use anymore. And now she's just upset because it was a part of their relationship and it was very touching. And then like they get into this fight later with a lion, like a giant lion thing, and the dog is just too scared instinctually to do anything and almost gets itself hurt by butting into the fight, trying to help, trying to be useful, because he doesn't want to get left behind by their owner just because they're on this journey to becoming Precures. And I'm just like, man, they're not like physically fighting these animals. They're more just trying to go up to them and hug them and get them to calm down and be nice and turn back to normal. So this is already kind of apart from Soaring Sky Precure, which was like the other Precure I've seen, where that one was like a lot of hero stuff and fighting and flying around. And this one is more just treat animals nice, be kind to them. But emotionally, it will fuck you up. They're not physically attacking the animals or whatever in this, which makes sense. But emotionally, you, the viewer, are being attacked. Okay, as you watch this dog suffer. And I'm like, Why do you do this? What did a poor dog do to you, Precure writers? Leave him alone. Jeez. And occasionally I've been checking out episodes of the original Precure, which I think I'm halfway through the first season of at this point. I like the aesthetic of that time when anime was being done. I don't know if I feel too crazy about Precure in these original episodes. I'm like, they're all right. They're enough to interest me, but I feel like the newer iterations were like more interesting to me. I don't know. I feel like at this point I'm going to be ending up going through a journey through all of the Precures, which is going to take a long time to go through because apparently I found out after Soaring Sky, every single season of Precure goes for a whole year. There's like 50-ish episodes for every single iteration, and it's been going on for like 20 years. I have a lot of content that I'll have to watch if I want to get through all of them, and movies and stuff. Oh my god. At the very least, every season is going to be like a fresh new iteration, trying out different things. So that'll be interesting to discover, checking it all out as somebody in 2024, just going backwards while watching the new stuff and then going backwards to the old stuff. So that'd be interesting. I kind of did the same when it came to Gundam. I think my first Gundam was Witch from Mercury, or did I watch the original Gundam first? I've only seen two, well, technically I've seen 3 Gundams ever in my life. I watched Gundam Hathaway Flash, I watched Gundam the Witch from Mercury, and then I watched the original Gundam. I watched all that. So those are the only Gundams I've ever seen ever. So I have a mixture of the newest Gundams and then the OG Gundam. And I am kind of scared to go through any of the stuff in between. Although I hear G Gundam, I think, is like great. Or was it Gundam Wing? I don't know. I do also hear I should check out Iron-Blooded Orphans because I hear it's like fucking Game of Thrones Gundam or whatever. Like I hear that one's really good, but I don't know. Mecha stuff scares me because usually I'm actually not that interested in it. You'd think otherwise considering how much I like sci-fi stuff, but a lot of the times mecha stuff doesn't interest me. It kind of depends. Sometimes it kind of depends for me. Everybody right now is raving about Bravern on Twitter and online is like the mecha anime of the season to freak the fuck out about. Meanwhile, the other was Metallic Rouge a mecha anime? I think it was a mecha anime. Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore, apparently. That was disappointing to hear. I was excited for that one and I was going to go back and check out more episodes of that later, but nobody's talking about it now, so maybe it was dog shit. This video's kind of all over the place. There you go. You get a little rambling about my current anime adventures here. Me and Shadow also just got caught up on Shangri-La Frontier, and we're watching the newest episodes of Frieren and Delicious in Dungeon every week as those release. Those have been great, and Shangri-La Frontier is a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. We're watching it as the English dub, which I think is a great experience for its localization. I'm sure it's probably making a lot of anti-localizers lose their fucking minds, so they just stop looking at it. I can't imagine how the subtitles are handling a lot of this stuff. You know, with the dub, they probably more so understand. It's gonna go a little crazy, especially with the gamer lingo. I don't even want to get into all that bullshit right now, okay? It's fun. Shangri-La Frontier is fun. It is called a fun video game, VR MMO anime, okay? Go check out Shangri-La Frontier. It's almost done airing for the season. It's got like a couple episodes left. All right, well, there you go. This was a all over the place ramble, so I'm just gonna wrap this one up here. Goodbye, gamers.